Headlines: Africa Union and IGAD representatives visit Mekelle to observe peace deal implementation. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching African Renaissance Television Services, and I'm Khalib Tensai with your evening news. Stay tuned. Africa Union and IGAD representatives visit Mekelle to observe peace deal. Earlier last week, former Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta said that he and representatives from the AU will be going to Mekelle to see the implementation of the Pretoria Peace Agreement. True to their word, the former Kenyan President, along with the former Nigerian President and current Special Envoy of the African Union to the Horn of Africa, Olusegun Obasanjo, IGAD Secretary General Dr. Workneh Gebeyehu, and other parties involved in the peace agreement entered Mekelle yesterday. Our reporter has more on the story.
When the leaders of the peace agreement arrived in Alula Abaneka International Airport in Mekelle, they were welcomed by Dr. Debretsion Mekelle and top TLF officials. During their stay in Mekelle, the Special Envoy set up a 3-member monitoring, verification, and compliance mission to enforce the implementation of the peace agreement. The 3-member team will monitor the implementation of civil and military agreement in accordance with the peace deal and will report to the committee established by the African Union. The monitoring team is composed of Major General Radina Stephen from Kenya, Colonel Rufai Umar Marianga from Nigeria, and Colonel Tefo Sekole from South Africa as its members. The Special Envoy explained following the peace agreement, emergency humanitarian aid is being widely distributed in the war-torn region while also appreciating the central government for its commitment to resume basic service in the region. Along the Special Envoy, the company of 32 countries' ambassadors also visited Mekelle, which included the UK's ambassador, Ethiopia, along with other African and European diplomats. The purpose of their visit was stated as to observe and discuss the implementation of the Pretoria Peace Deal.
Federal forces back in Mekelle to resume protection of federal institutions. It was stated that the Federal Police of Ethiopia entered Mekelle yesterday to resume protection of federal institutions and other critical infrastructures. Our reporter has more on the story.
A statement from Ethiopian Federal Police has announced that the federal force entered the Tigray region's capital Mekelle and have begun protection of federal institutions in accordance with the mandates bestowed to the federal forces of the Ethiopian constitution. Ethiopian Federal Police, located in Tigray region and managed by the federal government, will protect airports, electricity infrastructures, telecom service providers, banks, and other federal institutions that provide service to society. In addition to this, according to the agreement reached, members of the Ethiopian Defense Forces have entered the town of Agula, which is close to Mekelle, according to a senior official of the Tigray region, Deutsche Welle Radio reported.
Ethiopia Airlines to resume operation to Shire City starting next week Monday. The Ethiopian flag carrier made an announcement that starting next Monday, it will start making 1 flight a day to Shire City. The airlines also stated that it will increase its regular flights to Mekelle City to 3 flights per day, and it will continuously increase the number of flights per day considering the number of passengers. It has announced that passengers can register and book tickets using the airline's website and mobile applications from wherever they are. 1.9 trillion birr exchanged using digital services, says Commercial Bank of Ethiopia. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia's president, Mr. Abe Sano, has stated that the bank oversaw the exchange of 1.9 trillion birr in the past 12 months using various digital services it operates. Our reporter has more on this.
In an interview with ENA, Commercial Bank of Ethiopia's president, Mr. Abe Sano, stated customers using the digital service the bank offers, such as mobile banking, CBE birr, internet banking, and ATM services, managed to exchange capital in the amount of 1.9 trillion birr. The state-owned bank is the biggest in Ethiopia and one of the major players in digital bank services, and according to the CEO, the bank is investing in infrastructure and hopes to develop its technological capacity more. In what is emerging to be a fast-changing environment, the bank faces competition for digital services from private banks as well as the other state-owned giant Ethio Telecom with its Telebirr service. Competition is expected to be fierce, with the banking sector now being open to foreign capitals.
And now, for international news. Cough syrup blamed for Child's Days again, this time in Uzbekistan. Just weeks after the Gambia linked Days of Children to an Indian-based cough syrup manufacturer, Uzbekistan have also linked the disease to another Indian drug maker. More on this from our reporter.
Uzbekistan's health minister has linked the death of 18 children in the country to the consumption of cough syrup manufactured by the Indian drug maker. Uzbek news sources have stated several people associated with the import and distribution of the drug have been arrested. While the BBC reported Marion Biotech, the drug maker responsible for the cough syrup, has its facilities inspected by officials of the Indian Health Ministry after contacting with the Uzbekistan's national drug regulator. The health officials have taken samples of the cough syrup from the facilities and sent it to the regional drug testing laboratory, according to a statement by India's health ministry. In October, the World Health Organization sounded a global alert after it linked the death of 66 children in the Gambia to another Indian-based manufacturer. The WHO stated through its tests it found unexpected amounts of toxic substances. Both the Indian government and the company have denied the allegations and stated that the WHO was being presumptuous in blaming these syrups.
Thank you for watching the evening news. Once again, I'm Khalid Tensai from African Renaissance Television Services. Have a good night.